chakra placements. Let's get into it. The first card you have, Aries, for today is Judgment. This is number 20. And this is a major arcana. So let's get to the image. So in this picture, there are two images. One is the top image, one is the bottom image. On the top, like there's this trumpet. Now, I love this deck, the picture, because it's a little drift away from the traditional imagery on the Rider-Waite decks and a lot of the decks. So I'm going to just tell you what I see from the image versus like the other decks. So here, if you see, the trumpet is a little curved. You know, it reminds me of infinity symbol, almost infinity. Right, and when it comes to infinity, it's like, you know, in terms of time, it's like a cycle, you know, that goes on and on. It's an eternal cycle. So now I feel this trumpet is like something that happens like periodically when we're awakened, when we are rising, when we have been called to action. There is a aha moment, a breakthrough moment that's happening. So this judgment is not a straight trumpet. It's not a linear trumpet, or it's not a judgment on you. Like, it's not a verdict or something like that. It's just a call to, you know, not if you see below the trumpet, there are two orbs out here. One is like, it's a blue orb. It's a blue and white orb. And inside, if you see, there is an image of an unborn child. So this is the life that you are being called to, I feel, Aries. This is like the life that you have not lived as yet that's calling at you. It's a beginning of a new chapter. It's like, if you see the image, the baby, unborn baby is almost there. You know, almost ready for that new chapter, that new life. It's like a new life. It's a new era for you that's starting, that you are being called towards. So this is something that you have not lived as yet. This is something that has not manifested in your life as yet. But because it's the angel that's calling at it, it's calling you for it. It's like you're being pulled, awakened to your life path. You know, when each of us is born, we are assigned a blueprint, like what we're sent here, what we are born here to do. It's claiming that, it's walking on that path that we're meant to walk on in this life. You're being called towards that. It's a new life. And if you see, there is, below that, there is a red color circle, orb, red and white. And that's fire. You know, if you see the bottom picture also, there's a lot of red energy out there. So fire, and you're the cardinal fire. You are the cardinal fire element. And if you see clearly, like this is, you know, if you see, within this red and white orb, there is this compressed human being, you know, somebody that has been through it. You know, all of those experiences, everything, it's a summary of your past. And, you know, because it's in a fire orb, fire does two things. It destroys and it purifies, right? So I feel that, and fire is also a metabolic fire, because when, like, for example, when you're eating, when the food goes into our stomach, it's the fire, right, that transforms the food that we eat into the energy and everything. It's done by the fire in the stomach. So it's the same fire over here, which is helping you digest, which is helping you turn the experiences into wisdom. You already done that. I feel you've already done that. And you're being called to step into this new version, which is, you already have the wisdom of the past experiences. So now you can rise and rise to a newer version of you, which is the outcome of the past experiences. So this is not something's fallen. This is like a huge awakening. This is like a very extraordinary moment for you, Aries, out here. That's what I'm picking up on. Because it's actually a call to, it's an announcement, like there is a new beginning out here for you. And it's at a huge level, and I understand why, because there's a lot of planets that are in the collective sign of Aries. There's a lot of planets right now. There's Neptune, there's Sun, which is orbiting, and it's your solar return time, right? It's the time where Sun is shining on Aries. It's the most visible time for you. So I feel that you're rising up, your true self, your new version is being visible to the world, to the people around you. And the trumpet being infinity, it's like an ongoing cycle. Like, yes, we answer the call, we, put the work in, we rise up, there's a new version. Then again, we have to fix something else, and then there's another weakening. We're weakened to something else. And then we fix that and we become another version, another new version. So this is like an ongoing process, right? This is evolution. And that's what this is. And because it's a golden colored trumpet, and it's the golden color in every deck for the most part, gold is used because it's the standard for highest spiritual, what do you call it? It's a secret element, right? It's the, gold is a very secret, precious metal, which is like also the gold standard for spirituality and all of that. So I feel that, it's some kind of alchemy which is happening right now, I would say. The red orb, like, it's everything that you have been through, the fire, the heat, the negative experiences that you have lived and survived through. And that's what's creating this new version. That's what's birthing this new version of you. So it's the kind of the push, the pressure of the past that has now created this new version of you. And because there is an infinity, the infinity is also there on the magician's head. For those of you that are familiar with the cards, so magician is like, having all the elements at his disposal, and same the case over here. There is air with the trumpet, there is fire with the red orb, there is water with the blue orb. And below the picture, this person is like very earthy, earth element, it's the material world, rising up from that. I feel you kind of been there, you kind of, it's a rise to the cosmic, angelic realm, it's the rise to the higher self. So in a way, it's a resurrection. But it's sound from the dead, like the traditional decks they show people rising from the dead. That's not what this is. It's like, you've ended that red chapter, that red orb chapter, and you're getting into this more calmer blue orb chapter. Because every experience that you went through with that red orb, it's done its work. It's put the pressure. It's created the diamond in you. That's the new chapter that you're beginning as a diamond out here. Yeah, that's the kind of vibe I'm getting. It's the pressure. The red orb is the pressure, the heat, how liquid gold is, the heat creates that liquid gold. We melt the gold, and the liquid gold, you can pour it into any shape or form, and it becomes that. So it's that kind of energy that the pressure of the past has created the diamond that is you today. It's kind of like, I would say it's the second chance, or the second inning, or the second, second chance. Yeah, I would say a second chance at life itself. But with the advanced version, the evolved version that you are today. So I do feel that for you, Aries, this is like a new extraordinary chapter which is beginning, whether it's in your career, in your anything creative area, whether it's in your health and vitality, whatever that is, there is a new chapter which is beginning for you. And I feel that if you take the right steps, if you put in the right work, your results are going to be extraordinary. And when it comes to the trumpet, for those of you who have heard the trumpet, it kind of shakes your head. The neurons start vibrating in my head when I hear the trumpet, like a real trumpet playing. It kind of energetically kind of shakes the neurons in my head. And that's what I'm picking up here. It's like it's a brain neural reset for you. It's like some kind of a new brain reset which is happening, for you, Aries. And I feel that if you respond to that calling of yours, whatever you're being called to attend to or become or to practice or restart, whatever that thing is for you, to pursue something that will storm that, or maybe to make a decision, that's going to be hugely blessed by this angel. It's a aha moment for you. Like, it's like you will have a lot of nice ideas, good ideas, clarity of purpose, what do you want to do, where you want to go. All of that is now becoming real for you, the decisions that you have to make. So it's a very important time, something really big. Either it's a new job, career, project, something, a new kind of identity is birthing for you here right now, Aries. Definitely there's a new identity kind of an energy out here, maybe a completely new direction that you're taking, something that you have been maybe procrastinating for a long time. But now you're seeing it, you're seeing the way forward, you're seeing what you want, and it's like a new chapter, new identity is being birthed for you, something which is very important, very meaningful, very creative. Final decision, an investment that you've been, procrastinating for. But here the thing is that this is about you and your, core purpose, your heart. What is your idea of it? You don't have to follow the herd. Like, if people are doing this, then I gotta do this. No, I feel this is like, you're gonna follow your heart, and it's gonna turn out better than what the normal, or what the collective were doing. If you're going to do something different, it might turn out better. Like, for example, you want to buy a house, and, it's like, somebody, let people have rejected their house, and they're heading towards something different. Maybe what's trending, they're heading towards that, but you're like, no, I like the house. I'm going to just, it's sounding great cheap right now, but I'm going to just tear it down completely, and I'm going to build it according to me, my taste. And it turns out better. It turns out to be a better investment than anything else. So something that people are, that maybe you've been advised against is something I feel that you might end up doing. I feel it's a strong foundation. It's some kind of a foundation that you're going to set up right now, and it is something that will go the distance. So it's something like, it's a foundation that you're establishing in some way. Which is going to be huge. So it's a good time. I mean, I do feel that, you have a lot of clarity for future direction. And there's no more procrastination. You're just when completing tasks, you're finishing things, wrapping things up, and starting something new. I also feel, and this could be in any area of your life. It doesn't have to be just careers. It could be on your health front, your home front. Maybe you're moving to a different place. You're starting a different job. Or it could be like, it could be in anything. It could be, it could be you like, second chances as well. Like maybe you thought something was, completely wrapped up, gone, dead and gone. But now it kind of comes back. It's a second chance as well at something important. No, if this is not your energy, Aries, it could be the energy playing out in your environment where people are deciding things, closing chapters, starting new ones. They're announcing things, or it could be that you see people around you that they're taking second chances or getting second chances, and you're like awakening, being more present, being having more clarity. Or it's like, starting new chapters. This could be for people around you. For some of you, this could be, sudden shifts, like maybe like you get a sudden promotion. I have a feeling that there could be a second chance for you at, something at work, maybe a promotion, maybe, you were in line and somebody else got the promotion that you were probably supposed to get. And now the person's leaving and now you have to step up because, it's your second chance at it. So for some of you, it could be that, or it could be in relationships as well. It could be even your side hustles or side gig that you had started. Now you're kind of reviving it again. It's a second chance at it again. But whatever this is, this is something which is going to be very meaningful. It's going to really mean something to you. You're gonna value this. Whatever it is that you're gonna start, you're gonna really value it. It's gonna add a lot of meaning to your life. So wherever you want to work on, whatever is strongly calling at you, go for it. I feel you already aligned the resources, or you will do that very soon, and you will work on it. So it's a it's a good idea to stay committed and to put your time, attention, resources towards whatever you want to create for yourself. For some of you, this could be, it could also be research, it could be inventions, it could be innovating things, it could be renovating things. It could be something to do with space and technology and all of that as well. The next card you have, Aries, is Alejandra Pizarnik. Alejandra Pizarnik. Beautiful energy out there. It further says, solitude. Now, if you look at Alejandra, she writes poem. She writes poetry. She writes poems that are deep, that are intense. And if you look at the picture, it's a little dark picture. And there's like flowers that are in full bloom. There's birds. Birds are messengers. Birds are information. And then there is two little figurines that are floating around. Dressed in very like girl kind of skirts and blouses. And this person, Alejandra, her eyes are closed. So she is thinking about something. She's not outward focused. She's not focused in the world. And besides that, she's also shown to be in like a dark room, dark space. And I feel that, when it comes to Alejandra, she was like a, deep, intense writer of poems. And she wrote a lot. And that was her creative urges, right? That came from being in solitude. She was able to produce all those poems and poetry, whatever she wrote. She was able to, create those pieces by being in solitude, like by tuning inside, like tuning out the world noise, having a space where she can be by herself, focus within. What is her heart want? What are her creative urges and instincts telling her? What is the next step? So she's looking inside of her rich world to find the answers, to align herself with her inner calling. So she does have a regional world because there's flowers here in Foodnoom. And then there's these two little cute figurines, which is supposedly I would think that these are younger versions of her or some kind of versions of her that she'd like to imagine, yeah? And the thing about the birds, there is one dark bird, like a dog-colored bird, and there is one white bird. And white bird, we know, the dove. The dove is like a peacemaker, She's at peace here. She's at peace in this situation with herself, in solitude, with her thoughts, with her creative instincts. Whatever she's doing, she's happy. She's trying to create, she's trying to focus. I feel that, especially for you, Aries, you're the fire sign. You're like out and about. You like to go out, exchange, talk, be here, there, everywhere, connect, and all of that. So I feel the solitude is going to be a pleasant change for you. I mean, it's asking you to take some time to sit with yourself, to focus on, your creative ideas, whatever is coming to you, and work on it. And to cut out the noise for right now. So basically, this is a card like to, to sit with yourself, to focus on whatever you're doing, to get those creative ideas, to see, what your heart is trying to tell you. What is the idea forward and all of that? Which is hard for us to focus, right, when you're out and about. It's hard for us to sit down like that and focus on our next creative ideas and our next steps and how you want to manifest it and how you're going to create a process, and all of that has to be done by, away from the external world. And I feel it's going to be a very productive thing for you, like taking a time out in solitude, thinking things through, planning, working on something creative, maybe that you have ideas, because there is forward momentum associated with this. So I feel that this, this place, this room, or this space where you have like your sanctuary where you can just sit by yourself and shut the door out on the external noise is not a punishment. This is like, a space, like a lab for you to create something. It's like you have all the ingredients, what's going to come out of it, and something nice is going to come out of it, I feel, because something really nice came out of Alejandra's solitude. So I feel that this is like something which is required for you right now, to sit by yourself and to create. Now, for some of you, this can be like meditation or focus, focus building, strength building, kind of concentrating exercise that you probably might be doing, some kind of meditation that connects you with your inner creative world. And I feel that, with this lab, or in this lab, you will create something which is very, which has been in your thoughts for some time, but you probably did not know how to put it into action or how to create something out of it. Maybe it was just an idea floating around, like, there's flowers and all of that. So when you sit in solitude, the way you want to create, or those kind of ideas might come to you now. The only thing that I want to mention, that I feel that this is asking you, this energy is encouraging you to have a practice, something that you can do every single day. It's like a consistent practice of sitting in, by yourself and creating, or spending time thinking about the ideas and putting it down and creating a plan, or implementing it, or applying it, or learning the tools or resources, aligning those. I don't know if you're a busy Aries out there, out and about doing so many things. Maybe you have a socially active calendar. Maybe you're here, there, everywhere. So this, I don't know, is really enforcing for you to make this a daily practice, kind of like sit by yourself and create something. The only thing that you need to be mindful of is solitude doesn't mean that you need to, cut yourself off from the external world. It's just that you need to have a set time, maybe a few hours, an hour or 2 or 3, whatever is needed for you to create and produce and be creative, or, have that movement forward in something that you're wanting to create. Now, I do feel that some of you might, actually be writing poems or some kind of journal or some kind of write up for yourself right now. Before you actually put it out into the world. So it's a work in progress that some of you, this might be into writing. Doesn't have to be, but it's something that's along the creative line. Maybe you're crafting, or maybe you're creating some kind of art or some kind of music, or writing something, and you're not gonna be very loud about it. You're not like showing it out there, like in your, like to other people that you're here creating something. I think you're doing it in a very cool, calm, silent kind of low-key way. And I feel like, spending some time in solitude is like a, meditation practice. And I think everybody should do it, no matter what. Even, just taking our 5 or 10 minutes a day actually, changes the game. And those 10 minutes that we kind of, when we pay attention to our thoughts, what we want, and all of that, it could actually, change the way we do things. It could bring about big changes in our lives in general. So this is a good practice of, setting aside at least 10 or 15 minutes and sit by yourself in your sanctuary, a sacred space, and then just meditate and let the ideas flow. Now, for some of you, this could be like you are going on a retreats. You're going to some place that these days we have a lot of meditation and spiritual retreats as well that help us kind of detox, digital detox and all of that. So some of you could be into that, or just a vacation escape into some place which is not too crowded, away from the hustle and bustle of the city. For some of you, it could be traveling to, some kind of in the woods, cottages and cabins and all those kind of retreats that, just for some peace, some solitude. For some of you, it could be that as well. Now, for some of you, this could be shifting careers. Like, you were in one job. You used to do a certain thing for so many years, and now you left that. Or you want to switch career. Now you're kind of trying to get a feel. You're trying to feel yourself. Like, what exactly is it that you want to pursue next? So for some of you, you could be, changing careers and thinking about that. For some of you, it could be just reinventing the way you do things. Maybe in your daily life, maybe in your personality, or maybe at your work. And for some of you, this could just be the time to practice things out. That, for example, if you're planning to run a marathon, maybe you're just practicing running by yourself, like before you go as part of a group. So for some of you, this could be, practice and, trying to do something, maybe sports related, maybe crafts related, or orbs related, like going it alone before you become a part of a group. Now, if this is not your energy, Aries, this could be the environment around you. This could be people around you that are, taking some time off or getting creative because they have creative ideas, or if they've been thinking about something or starting something. So you might see, some kind of activity around that in your, either in your neighborhood where you live or maybe in your place of work. And for some of you, this could be like people, they're that are kind of like taking it slow pace, like, not in a rush. So it's like, when you're not here, they're everywhere, scattered energy. It's not that. It's like, yeah, I'm here, I'm present. I'm going to listen to you, what you have to say. I'm going to listen. I'm not going to be in a rush. I'm not going to double book myself. I'm not going to multitask. I'm not going to be on my phone at this moment when I'm here. And things like that. So some of you might be changing that up as well. And for some of you, this could be like the people around you that have, that probably have been wanting to share something with you. And maybe, they were waiting for the right time to share it with you, because there is a paper that Alejandra is holding close to her. And it could be some kind of a written note or message or a call or something just pops up. From someone, and they might share something that they've been meaning to for a long time, but either the, situation was not right or the time was not right. Now, some people might even, think that you are kind of quiet. Maybe it's like what's going on with Aries, why you're so quiet. Maybe you've been engaging with people or had a social calendar and busy social calendar, and now you're nowhere to be seen in the social circuit, or maybe you're just talking less or interacting less. So some people might even see a little bit of a shift on that side. And the last card for today, Aries, you have is a message from Cosmos, and it says, you are safe, you are protected, the worst is behind you, and you are ready to move beyond the challenges that were set for you. Lessons have been learned. It is safe for you to trust your path. Yeah, because with the Judgment card, I feel that the lessons have been learned. If you remember in the picture, there was a red orb, and that's the negative experiences, that's the pressure. Those are the lessons that you have already learned, and now you're heading towards a life, a new chapter, a new era, where, the worst is behind you because you've been through it. And now you have processed those challenges. You're ready to move past it. So there is a lot of wisdom with which you're moving forward. And whatever lessons your soul was meant to learn has been learned. There's a confirmation here. And then whichever path now you're picking, especially with the solitude card, the path is going to be visible to you. It's going to be a good path for you. So just trust the process and keep moving forward on it. So Aries, those were your messages and hope you enjoyed them. Now moving on to the sign of Leo. The first card you have, Leo, is the moon. And this is number 18. So 1, 8, and 9 are coming through strong with this energy. Now, if you see this moon card, it's a major arcana, of course, and it's in the upright for you. And it's a beautiful image, actually. This deck is a little different in terms of its images. It has like two parts. It's like two sides of a coin. The top picture is, there's like two moons out here, but it's a reflection. The bottom one is a reflection feels like a reflection in the water. Even though the moons are actually in the sky, but because the lower bottom image is turned upside down, it feels like the moon is a reflection in the water. And here, the artist has used dogs instead of foxes. I feel that there is something, Leo, that you are seeing in the next few days. Something which is a reality and something which you actually fear might be a reality. And I'll get to it, like why I say that, because there are two moons in the picture. So there's some concept of duality. Now, it could be that there are two truths in front of you, which, are kind of contradicting to each other. And somehow you feel that both are real. I feel that this could be you, Leo. Like we see here, there is two animals. There's a reflection of this dog out here in the picture below, but one is a white animal, one is a black dog, right? And I feel that, when it comes to the dog is howling, right? It's howling at the moon, which is like the raw impulse, the first impulse, like it's the raw truth. The dog's not thinking that he needs to perform a certain way or howl in a certain way, or how is my howl sounding. Those are not the dog's concerns. He's just howling because that's natural to him. And especially when it comes to Leo energy, you're ruled by the sun. Here is another dichotomy, you're ruled by the sun. Sun and moon aren't really friends with each other. They show up at different times and for the most part. And right now the sun is in the sign of Aries, which is your sister sign, of course, but it's a little far away from your territory. So you're kind of, in that sense, also literally a little bit away from the sun's energy at this point in time, the Leo collective. So it's like dipping into the moon energy. So I feel that, for Leo fifth house is the house of creativity, the house of performance and creatives and, stage performance and all of that. And that's what Leos are about. They express themselves. They're at the center of the attention. They're shining bright. They claim the room, the space, the territory, wherever they are. Here, because there is this black dog out here, I feel that here you're owning that inner world of yours, which might be different from, your outer external persona, your inner world, your emotions, your heart space, your receptive nature, your intuition, the way you feel, I feel you're owning it now. You're feeling things way much more than you did ever before. I feel there are some things here that might pop up for you or pop out for you, however you say that, especially in the night or in the silent times at night, could be after sunset, in the moonlight, things that surface, that come to the surface when, the performative Leo is done. It's time for the Leo to rest. That's when you're confronting all of these feelings or emotions that are bubbling up, that are surfacing up, whether it's a fear of yours, whether it's some information, whether it's some thought that's constantly popping up for you. It could be anything. And now you're having to look at it. You're having to, to look at that truth, which is your innermost truth. So I do feel that, and it's nothing wrong with that black dog, which is kind of a little bit of the feelings that we have not paid attention to, or aspects of ourselves that we have not paid attention to. Nothing wrong with that, because if you see, there's nothing wrong with the image, It's like a beautiful reflection, and it's like a come full circle energy. It's like the two parts that make each of us, the bright side that we perform and the dark side that we are. And the dark side, I would say, the real us, I would say. The blank dog is the real us that's behind closed doors. What we feel that we don't show, what we think, what we confront, when we're by ourselves or when we're resting, that we really don't show, that we don't share. It's that aspect of us. And I feel that when it comes to the moon, moon shows us different things than what the sun shows us. Sun is like a performative, staged environment. Moon is like, when no one's watching. So it's like, when you go buy a house, you want to check that house in the morning and in the nighttime just to see, how that house feels like, what is the neighborhood like, what's the vibe, that's why we before buying any property, or, we tend to visit that place twice in the morning hours, and, after the sun is set in the quieter times, just to get a feel of what's going on. Because the nighttime reveals to us what the sunlight does not reveal to us. So there could be some things popping up for you, Leo, that you have kind of maneuvered through, or you have presented it in a very, in a decorated way, or you just managing or working around it. But now you're ready to look at it, you're ready to be genuine, be natural, and not cover up or sugar it up. You're kind of looking at the raw thing, the raw emotion, the raw expression. Because the mood energy is all about our own subconscious, something which we already know about, which bubbles to the surface, and it's something that we cannot ignore. Because it's going to constantly play in our heads, in our minds, in a loop, unless you acknowledge it. That's what the moon digs out. You see the crayfish over here, the orange features that are just coming out from the surface. Crayfish lie deep in the rocks, and it's coming out in the moonlight. So something that has been buried deep inside of your psyche, your heart, is now bubbling to the surface that you cannot ignore. Now, for some of you, this could be in your career, in your personal life. Maybe you're on a journey, on a path, and a career, are in a point in time where you don't know what's next. You don't know where you're going, where this journey is going to lead you to, where this career is going to lead you to, where this move is going to lead you to, where this relationship is going to lead you to. It's not about feeling lost. It's just that you don't know how the future is going to unfold. There is less predictability here in a situation. So I do feel, Leos, that you are going to get very honest with yourself, very real with yourself. You'll confront things, you'll meet them in the eye, things that you have been just burying deep under. Or, maybe it's that you've toughened up, because your performative energy, the collective Leo, is all about, how you look, how you express yourself, all of that. I feel that the moon energy is kind of cooling off that solar influence, I would say, you know. Um, so maybe it's like you've been out there entertaining and things like that, and now you're like, let me just cool that off for a bit and just be myself. For some of you, this could be reflecting on things of the past. You might be doing some kind of a self-awareness research, understanding why you feel in a certain type of way. This could also be correction, like, you're facing something, a fear or a desire or something about yourself that you could work on. So that could be it for some of you. It's like maybe you're working on your personality because you didn't like something. There's a lot of celebrities that do that too, and it's a moon moment for them, and they realize that, this is something I'm not proud of, I could work on this. And then they take up that initiative and then, make it shine or make it work for them. So for some of you, it could be that moment where you're kind of acknowledging, this is something that I want to work on, I'm not proud of, whether it's health, whether it's wealth, whether it's, your social circle, your career, something that you're taking a closer and a deep and an honest look and not denying the truth or not denying your feelings about it. And that could be in any situation, whether it's your work, your career. Are you liking that, or are you just telling everybody you're showing it that you're liking it? Are you really feeling it? That could be for relationships as well, or even, if you're a student, maybe you're not liking a certain subject. You're like, oh, you know what? My parents paid for this, and I have to show that I'm really liking it. So for some of you, it could be that as well. Because this is tied up to your emotions. Something makes you emotional, something that you're feeling strongly, something that you've been shoving down, something that you have kind of been managing. You've been feeling something, but maybe you've been good at hiding it or good at managing it. But now the pull is strong, It's like the emotions are so strong that you cannot, you cannot hide it anymore, hide that truth anymore. Now, for some of you, this is like actual, an appreciation, like going out, in the moonlight. And also, there's a lot of creativity, a lot of creative ideas, especially from the subconscious, tend to bubble up. Like your mind's thinking about something, you're like, where did that come from? But it could be an idea, maybe a creative idea, which is, which touches you deeply. You're like, oh my God, where was this idea before? Because you kind of, it touches you deeply, emotionally. So it could be that you get some idea during the nighttime. If you do that, then make sure you write it down, because, sometimes it just slips our mind and we forget what we were even thinking. So for some of you, this could be a creative time. Like after the sun has set, you're by yourself and suddenly some idea pops up and you like it, or you really, it touches you emotionally. Because I feel that for some of you that are creatives or in the creative industry, some idea that occurs to you in the late hours might be the one that you pursue, and something that really clicks with you, or really it's a big hit. Maybe you start really working on it. Maybe you run with that idea and it turns out really good. Like the moon cycle is like up and down, and actually about the moon, it's also said that it's the ruler of flux and reflux. It's like that governs the tides, that rules the tides. The full moon, it pulls the water, and then the new moon kind of, there's a low tide, it releases that pull. So moon cycles are like up and down and up and down. That's how it goes. It's cyclical. And I feel for you, Leos, you start to realize that, your emotions don't have to be a certain way all the time. You cannot be on a high all the time, because there is also the other side of you, which you probably don't cater to enough or don't pay attention to enough, which now I feel is requiring your attention. Now, also another thing is that the moon energy could also be, illusions. There's a lot of shadows that come by when we're in the nighttime, which looks like something, but it's not really. It causes a lot of fear sometimes, especially when we're unable to see. Full moon is still better, but until it becomes a full moon, the light is not too much. So some things that might not be um, dangerous appear dangerous at night, or the other way around as well. So here you will have to be very careful as to what's real, because the moon energy is also about illusions. So it's the illusion of something appearing a certain type of way. So you'll have to be very discerning into what's real, what's unreal. And it happens a lot, in today's times. There's a lot of news and all of that goes around, fake news and all of that. And we really have to be attentive or pay attention to what's real, what's floating around is real or unreal. Now, Moon is the ruler of Cancer, and right now Jupiter is in Cancer. So Cancer is the 12th house for you, which is the house of Pisces. 12th house is all about revelations, also dreams. So pay attention to your dreams. Dreams space, your nighttime, what emotions, the thoughts that come through. You might want to write it down before they slip away. And also with the moon currently is, transiting Taurus, which is going to be your 10th house of career. So maybe you feel something in regards to your career. You have a stronger feeling which you are denying or you're not paying attention to. That might bubble up to the surface in regards to your career. And for some of you, this could be a little bit of transformative energy as to, how you deal with people, how you express yourself, how you feel when you're in between people, in the middle of a crowd, how you express yourself, how you feel, the connection to other people. That could also be changing for some of you. Now, the only caveat with this energy, especially for you Leos, because, you like to be out there, maybe on social media posting and, expressing beautiful things. For some of you, the thing that you discover at nighttime, maybe an idea or some kind of a aha moment, the only downside with this energy is that you might tend to already talk about it, post about it, before anything even becomes a reality. So be mindful of that, because the moon energy is a little bit of a confusion, a little bit of an uncertain, a blurring kind of energy. And make sure that whatever idea is coming, whatever thoughts are coming, you write it down. But don't jump on the conclusions, or don't jump on to making the final decisions and announcing it to people, because it might be a little bit of like an uncertain energy, like an illusion that you're seeing or feeling. So wait it out for a day or two for the real picture to emerge, and then you can announce it. But it's a good card. It's nothing to be, anxious about, because I feel that, you guys have a big heart and you're already very sensitive. But I feel that some of you might feel a little bit more emotional or moved by things. Maybe you're reading something when you're crying. Maybe watching a movie and you're crying a little bit more than normal. For some of you, this could be that your nightlife, or maybe you're performing something, you're on stage at night, or you're watching a lot of TV at night. Maybe you're getting a little bit more energized and more active after sunset than you are during the day. Maybe having those late night parties with your friends, family, or watching late night movies, maybe even binge watching movies. Now, some of you might even be listening to some, Moonlight Sonata, the Beethoven song that was created at night for sure. And I know that was actually composed at night. So some of you might be interested in that, might be listening to that, or watching some moon-themed movies or moon-themed clothing for some of you. Now, some of you could actually scientifically be interested in the moon. Like, there's a lot of companies out, SpaceX, NASA, and all of that. And actually, the entire world is involved with some kind of landing on the moon, some kind of a lunar program, just to study the surface of the moon and to see what else information can be obtained. And for some of you, it could be that in regards to your career, or maybe in regards to your family, some kind of an information comes to the surface that was hidden from a long time. It can also be that in your own home where you're seeing some kind of issues come up that were hidden, that probably didn't show themselves, and now it's getting revealed like, oh, there's a plumbing issue, there is this issue. So I hope not, but it could be. But I feel whatever this change is for you, Leos, it's good, because I feel that now you're going to be more honest with yourself. You're going to speak your truth, not suppress it or sugar it up. And I feel that you're getting to the bottom of things. You're seeing beyond the surface, beyond the appearances. And when you see beyond the surface, something kind of, strikes a chord with you, resonates with you. Now, if this is not your inner Julio, it could be the environment around you where people are becoming more honest, in their conversations. There is depth. Maybe things that they were not sharing they might want to share. They might feel a little bit heavy on the heart or more emotional. So they might open up to you. For some of you, this could be that if you're partnered up, things that might come to the surface. You might see things that you had not seen before, in your other half or in your friends or in your partnerships. Now, for some of you, this could be that, there are people that are drawn towards you. They come towards you because of the depth that you have in conversations that comes about with feeling deeply through this moon energy. Or it could even be that you yourself are seeing that people are changing from within, their inner world, their way of expressing what they are comfortable with and, versus what they showed they were, might turn out to be different personalities. Like, okay, this is something that this person showed me, but I see the other side of them, the more raw, the more core side of them. And, for some of you, it could be that as well. The next card you have, Leo, is Mirabai, and it says devotion. Now, if you look at the picture, there is a lady in the painting. It's a painting, beautifully done, very, what do you call, it's the early centuries, like I think it was like 16th, 17th century, I don't know, somewhere around that. And there is this person, this woman, Mirabai, who is devoted to her instrument, to the higher cause, to the divine, to Krishna, as I understand. She was a huge devotee. She gave up everything. She just held this instrument, and it's called the tanpura, and she held it, and she was just, in love with the divine, that she gave up everything. She gave up, she was a princess. She was born in a palace. She belonged to a palace, but she chose not to stay there, not to remain there, not to be a part of it, and she sang for a higher cause, for her higher self, for the divine, for the love of divine, whom she embraced wholeheartedly, without the fear of judgment, without the fear of, without the fear of what the people, the society expect of her, or what are they going to think about her. No, she didn't have anything, only one a sentiment and emotion of full, complete devotion to the Lord that she truly loved, that she was highly devoted to, and she sang for that, irrespective of who is listening, who paid attention, who applauded, and all of that was not of her concern. She just, this is like when somebody picks up an instrument and sings to that level of devotion. It's the Ace of Cups emotion, it's the sacredness, it's the sacred devotion, and I feel that's a similar vibe that's happening for you. I feel that you are either picking up a craft, maybe an instrument, or something that you are creating out of devotion for it, out of love for it, not for the world, not for the social media. You're creating for yourself, for your family, for maybe because you're devoted to a cause. And that could be anything, a cause for the, at grassroots level, for the society, for the underprivileged. You're just doing it because it's a divine calling for you. And I feel that that's the emotion or the sentiment that I think with the moon card is something that surfaced up, that bubbled up, that you acknowledge that this is your love. This is what or who you want to stay devoted to. It could be divine. It could be an awakening for higher spirituality, higher ground. Something that you want to do without the need for a reciprocity, or without the need for a recognition, for applause, without the need for a spotlight or the stage. This is the love at the most sacred level. And that's what you're experiencing right now, I feel, Leos. That's the kind of devotion to a cause, a situation, a craft, maybe spirituality, for the divine, for your family, for something that's overpowering, which is secret, which is true, which is real, which is not performative, which is genuine. And this love is going to stay with you forever because it's coming from a place of, genuine love. So, and I mean, it's very liberating when we do things that we love, not because we want to show people, but it's because something that we love. It's not beyond social pretense or social status or something. It's a surrender to the craft, to the divine. And it's very powerful. This energy is very powerful. I feel that maybe this surfaces up to you. Maybe something that you have been avoiding, a craft, something that you wanted to be devoted to, but you were not able to express or put a finger on it. Maybe an instrument that you wanted to sing, create, or learn. I feel that now you're recognizing it, that that's your true calling. And maybe you were hiding it, maybe you were not comfortable sharing it, or putting, or saying it out loud, or singing, or creating. Maybe you were afraid what people are going to think and all of that. But I feel that now you're liberating yourself from all of those judgments of the external world, and you're like, unstoppable now, because you are, creating from that emotion, from that depth of, genuine devotion. And it's a very, transformative energy. I feel, even at the moon, I feel there was a lot of transformative energy for you, Leo. There is a lot of transformation which is going on at your, in your inner world, your emotional space, or the way you see yourself, the way you do things, the way you show up for people, for crafts, for the world. Maybe in relationships, like who are you devoted to and why? Maybe you are not ready to, acknowledge that emotion, that sentiment. But I feel that now it's becoming clearer to you. Now, this can also be a love for a craft or an activity that you kind of immerse yourself. It's an immersive experience, which is no short of connecting to the divine. For some of you, this could be an elevation in consciousness where you're kind of devoting to spirituality or a certain secret ritual, maybe a little bit more learning about it, maybe something to do with your family or kind of embracing it. It could be, it could come up in so many ways, but this is something which is of the highest order, something that connects directly to the divine. When we give up the pretense that somebody, the world, the people, the stage, and, the auditorium and all of that is not watching us. So, sorry. So what I'm saying is like when we don't care about who's watching and what they're saying, that's the immersive experience. That's when we create from the heart, It's like sometimes people, like, even the artists, the creatives, they create because what's going to sell, what's going to give them the highest numbers or the highest, the TRPs or something like that. But when you create from the heart and you don't care, like, I don't care if anybody's going to watch, if I don't get an award, if I don't get recognized, I don't get the numbers, I don't get the money, it's okay. I'm creating because I want to create something which is special to me, something dear to me, something that I want to put out into the world. It's that kind of devotion. Now, it could be that it's between your relationships, whether it's your family, friends, the divine. This could be a relationship with anyone or anything. But it's like, you don't need a permission to get into this. It's like now you're feeling free. You're like, no, I don't need anybody's approval. I don't need a permission. I'm just going to. I feel the blessing. Yeah, there are these two hands which are really big, in comparison to the Mirabai. The hands are so big. They're holding her. They're holding this creation. They're holding space for this creation, for this, whatever is coming to you, whatever you're being devoted to is being supported, loved, appreciated by the divine. It's being held by the divine. For some of you, this is like being held by the people that you've been caring for, like there are people that are caring for you. Or you are allowing people to care for you. I mean, you've been out there taking care of this, that, and the third, and now it's your chance to be spotted. And I feel that whatever you take to whatever you pick is going to be a long-term commitment. It's not just a momentary inspiration, like, oh, aha moment, like I'm like this, and you do it for a day or two. It's a constant devotion. It's something that you incorporate into your daily life for the rest of your life or for a long, long time. So I feel that, no, if this is not your energy, Leo, this could be something that's happening around you. You might feel that people are kind of getting devoted to a certain craft or a certain kind of music. It could be a devotional music. You could be seeing that people are getting devoted to that, or maybe they're devoted to a cause, for education or for community workers. It was like a kind of, there were speculations, that the next generation is not going to be spiritual, or they're, the spirituality is fading away. But I feel that now there is a little bit of a renaissance which is going on now. There's a sudden kind of revival that I'm feeling and seeing around, and you could be seeing the same thing too. For some of you, this could be belonging to a community that sings a certain kind of devotional song, or, a certain kind of devotional practice or a ritual. Maybe an instrument. You join a community that plays an instrument. Maybe a classical instrument, or maybe a modern day instrument, and you join a club. But it's like creating art. Maybe this is not about music. This is about writing or poetry or something like that you feel deeply called towards. That when you start working on it, or could be art even, could be arts, crafts, and when you start working on it, you're so immersed that you forget the track of time. That's the kind of devotion we're talking about here. But this is just for your own sake. This is for your keeps. This is not for the community or for the society or for anybody else. Not for getting some points or something like that. So this is great energy to be in, being present in the moment. It's, and when we're immersed in that, we actually feel the divine presence, because things shape up according to divine will. Every brush stroke is according to divine's will. Things shape up better than we had expected. I really like the movie in regards to this. It's called Sister Act. Now, some of you could be enjoying content around this theme as well. I'm also picking up Hallelujah. So for some of you, it could be that genre of music that you're listening to. But I feel that now you're coming out of, I'm not creating for what I've been told or what other people like or other people want from me. It's something that's dear to me. It's my taste. It's my idea. It's my creativity. And I'm going to genuinely stay committed and devoted to it. Now, some of you might be actually taking up a secret or a spiritual ritual. Or you might be, and it could be that you're looking or creating some secret space, some altar space at your home or a studio where you can create music, where you can devote your time to a sanctuary in your house. For some of you, it could be that, or it could be that you're going to some retreats or to some centers, of some religious sites or historical references or some spiritual places. Maybe you're visiting some kind of, secret spaces. Or it just could be that, it's like making the time in the day away from everything that you do in the day to spend time with this craft, even at your house. For some of you, this could be even, like a sports thing, like maybe you're picking up a sports like a pickleball or swimming or something, and you're devoting yourself to that. For some of you, this could be that you are creating some kind of a playlist that inspires you or something that is devotional in nature. But definitely there is some kind of a change, a transformation. I already mentioned there is something that has changed at a profound, at a deeper level. Or something not performative, something which is, maybe the way you deal with people is changing. Yeah, I feel that you're not about like, oh, I should connect with this person because it's going to help me here and there, but rather you feel connected to people that you genuinely want to be connected to, not in a performative way or not in a strategic way. So I feel that things might be changing around your social engagements as well. And for some of you, this could be collaboration as well. You could be collaborating with people that make more sense to you now versus, strategy, your profits and things like that. Maybe you had, for contracts, maybe you were dealing with people or signed contracts that could be profitable, but now you're looking at more meaningful contracts. Because now you're choosing what is true over what is really convenient. And I feel that whatever you take to, whatever is the devotion for you, it's going to be hugely blessed, I see that as, you have the moon card, and I'm strongly, kind of directed towards the Jupiterian energy, because the hands of Mirabai, if you see over here, the purple hands, these are Krishna's hands. These are the Lord's hands that she is devoted to. So I definitely see a divine blessing, a divine, divine holding the space for you, divine blessing you. The hands are way bigger than than Mirabai herself. So this is a divine that's holding you, that's holding space for your creativity, your craft, your devotion. You might be tying up, you might be signing contracts or working with some organizations of art that have similar paintings or devotional paintings or creative work or creating music or crafts or even the fashion fabrics derived from some kind of sacredness. This could be in the healthcare you could be serving. You could be devoted to people, for maybe giving health services, underpaid jobs, volunteering jobs, or something like that. You could be devoting yourself to as well. And I feel it's going to be for the long term, because this is not about, your acknowledgement. You don't want people to acknowledge you. You just want to do it because you want to do it. And the last card for today, you have, Leo, is a message from Cosmos. And it says, of course you will make mistakes, but the biggest one would be to not try. You have nothing to lose. This thing you have been thinking about for a long time, just go for it. Better an oops than a what if. We are here to support you. Exactly, it's the summary of everything that we have been talking about for you, Leo. It's something that you want to do. I think you're going to give your voice, or you're going to take the first steps. Or maybe you've been shying away from it, shirking away, not sure what the outcome would be, not sure how it's going to turn out. Would it be a waste of your time? Would people think a certain type of way? But I feel that the universe is supporting you. They're like, if you don't try, you lost. If you try, there's a chance that you could succeed it. You have nothing to lose with giving it a shot. At least you won't regret not trying it later. And the universe is here blessing you, supporting you. So whatever you take to, whatever you stay devoted to, will be supported by the universe. So go for it. And don't think twice. So Leos, those were your messages, and hope you enjoyed them. Now moving on to the sign of Sagittarius. So the first card you have, Sagittarius, is the King of Swords. It's in the reverse for you. Now, King of Swords is the air suit, and Gemini, Libra, Aquarius are the air elements. Now, if you look at the top part of the picture, the upper half of the picture, there is this knight on this beautiful brave white horse. The horse is charging forward. It's not a bleak or a weak horse. It's a powerful horse. The only thing is the knight is fully armored. It's having a guard, a strong guard throughout the whole body. And there is sword that he's holding not vertically, but he's holding it horizontally. He's holding it at the body level. So it's not vertical, which means it's not about cutting off. It's not about slicing. And if you see the armor that this knight is wearing, there is a yellow color moon, which is right at his chest. So the moon is all about our subconscious, our unconscious. And that's his inner world, which is showing up. The sky is gray. It's a little grayish theme. It's cloudy and looks a little unsettling. But when it comes to the Knight of Swords, it's all about changes. It's all about, changing the atmosphere. And if you see, there is a sword. There is two swords, which are kind of the horizon or the border between these two images, the top and the bottom one. So it divides these two images. So the sword is the threshold out here. Now, if you see in the picture below, it's very pleasant, it's a huge transformation. There is red, there is orange colors, there's bright blue, the sky is clear, it's not gray. The horse is white, it's not gray. The thing which is common between the picture up and the picture below is that there is momentum. See, the picture below is more about your inner world, what's going on beneath the scenes, what's going on in your inner world, underneath the armor. Underneath the armor, this person is fully charged up. It's the same energy, up and down. It's like, on the physical front, if you see, the horse is charging forward. It's not stalling, it's emotion. And the same passion, the same momentum is seen underneath, which means your heart space, your emotions are also fully in charge. They are fully driven forward. So there is fire lit up underneath this armor. There is a burning desire to go somewhere, and we'll see where you're going with this Sagittarius. And I feel that for you, Sagittarius, you're the 9th house energy, the mutable fire. You're always on some kind of a quest, because if you see the life for Sagittarius, it's a forward-moving archer, right? It's half man, half horse, shooting the bow, always future-driven, always having a vision, always on an adventure. It could be about anything, studies, work, learning something, maybe philosophy, whatever that is. But here you're charged up, you're on an adventure out here, some kind of adventure, but you're fully charged up. But with this armor, that is wearing the armor. So you are protecting yourself from something. But the good thing I like about this Knight of Swords is, now if you see the dividing line, it's two swords. So two of swords energy is there in the background of it, which means that there was a stalemate out here for some kind of a situation, which I feel that now you are acting on it. You've made the decision. Now there is a forward momentum, and that too, a passionate forward momentum. So whatever was a procrastination, I feel that has gone away, and now you're moving forward in a certain direction that you made a decision about. And I feel that because it's a sword suit, which means it's all about your mind, your thinking, Your could be something that you are working on. It could be something related to studies, job, project, career. Something which is fast moving now, because the horse energy is a fast moving energy. It's charging forward. Now, it could be that something, was like, something maybe that shook you up a little bit. Because I feel that, the figure on top is like trying to work through a difficult situation, charging forward through a difficult situation. So you might be in some kind of a difficult situation that you're trying to move away from. And for you, I feel, Sagittarius, this swarm suit, I feel that, you're always like, the sign of pursuing things, like whether it's philosophy, whether it's a subject of interest, whether it's a hobby, some kind of passion. Maybe it could be a music, arts, whatever that is. You're always searching for meaning, purpose, learning new subjects across different domains. And that's the thing with the Sagittarius energy, is that they can accommodate, they can learn, they can consume data, information, different subjects which are completely different from each other. It's the knowledge-seeking sign, the ninth house blessed by Jupiter. And I feel that you're charging forward towards learning something, and there's a lot of passion, there's a lot of energy that you're putting behind it. And with the Knight of Swords, I feel that you're fully committed to this cause. So I do feel that, Sagittarius, this next few days or weeks, you're fully charging forward. You're in charge. You're not procrastinating. You're not holding back. There is no stagnation that you're entertaining. You've made the decision and you've started charging forward. And you're at a point of no return from here. In whichever subject, direction that you're moving, I feel this is a point of no return for you. And there is a lot of intellectual energy which is available to you with this sword suit. It's a very sharp energy. Swords are really sharp. And so I feel that you're very clear, you're very precise with what you want. You have a target. You know your truth. You're targeting something really specific here. And because in the bottom half, the lower half of the picture, there is red on the horse attack, and there is a red cape that this armor is wearing. There's a lot of passion which is driving you forward. And I feel that it's very, it's a very practical or a rational approach that you're taking to this forward movement. Wherever this is, it's not an illogical thing. It's coming with a lot of intellect, with a lot of rationality. This is something brilliant. And the good thing about this Knight of Swords is that it doesn't wait for everything to be perfect. Like, it doesn't wait for everything to be, aligned. It just moves forward. It just charges through forward, with whatever you got, with whatever resources, and then keeps tackling situations, improving things along. And because this is a very unique dynamic, it combines your mutable fire energy, which is the fire that keeps adjusting. It's a mutable sign. You adjust, you're flexible. And then there is this air energy, which is the intellect, the truth, your precision, the clarity that you have. They're both full on here for you, Sagittarius. And the good thing about this, with the fire and the fire and the air combination, it's like very much needed for old things to go away, the old ways of doing things, or old whatever routine or whatever you had to go away, so that you're making space for the new. So this is about clearing ground, clearing your mind, your space, your routine, whatever this is, you're clearing something away so that you're making space for the new. And I believe this is something that is going to move really fast, because the horse is like fast forward movement, right? It's not a slow moving energy. It's a fast. It's speed here, and then there is a sharp, extraordinary intellect which is behind this movement. So there is something really powerful that you're working on or that you're doing this week or in the next few weeks here, Sagittarius. And the good thing about this is if you see, the horse actually knows where it's going, and when it comes to the swarm suit, if there is a clarity about where you want to go, what's your goal, what's your destination. And because there is like a lot of passion with this, if you see the lower picture, it's all about a passionate inner world. So you're emotionally driven forward. And you know exactly why you're doing it. So there is clarity of why you're charging forward, why you've taken up this goal, why you want to achieve this. There is a good amount of clarity. And I really like this energy in general, specifically for the fire elements, because it tells me that you are passionate about something, committed towards something, and you know exactly why, and you have the clarity, which is very smart. You have the exact, the intellectual understanding and the clarity, and that's when you're moving forward. It's not that you're lost or just you don't know what you're doing and the fire's going to burn out. No, you have the exact clarity why you're moving forward with a certain situation. And because Sagittarius, your ruler is Jupiter, which is in Cancer. And Cancer is the, collective energy of the home, something which is deeply personal, something which is domestic inside the house. Also, related to your mom, parents, close family, it could also be ancestors. So I feel that there is something that you might be pursuing which is related to house, which is, or it is within the house, or it's somewhere around the house, but something which is, I would say closer to the home energy. It's something that you might be working towards or charging towards. And I also feel that whatever this is, it could be in the, area of communication. Uranus is in Gemini, and Mars is also in Gemini. So there could be like something fast movement in regards to communications or building networks with, faster networks or connections with people, because you're able to talk, you're able to express yourself, you're able to communicate well, and that helps your idea gain more momentum. And because this is the season of Aries, which is your sister fire sign, because Sun is moving into the sign of Aries, so there's a lot of visibility, there's a lot of clarity. So when you wield your sword, when you kind of use your words, your intellect, it gets the best results because the precision is very accurate. It's very precise. How you use it, how you say things is very precise. It's very, accurate. And for some reason, I'm also getting an energy that this is like a very transformative energy that, it's kind of, it gives me a very, generational transformative energy out here, Sagittarius, with this Knight of Swords, and especially with the Pluto and Aquarius energy. There is a collective transformation. This is not like a one-to-one kind of a, you're charging forward, doing something, passionate about something that you love, but it's going to change, it's going to transform something around the collective world, something around the, I would say, it's like, how the people think or what they perceive, something around the collective thinking, their mindset, or something around the collective world's mindset, thinking, ideas, ideology. This is transformative for the entire humanity, for the collective, for the most part. So you could be involved in some kind of a idea or project of that kind. Because I'm getting a very before and after kind of energy. Like before this, there was something, and it's kind of measurable or tangible or something that is like the before and after. Like before I took this course, I was like this. Oh, it changed my life, and now I'm like this. So it's a before and after moment for you, Sagittarius, in some way. But there is a caveat with the Knight of Swords in the reversed. It is working, the energy is working, the planets are aligned, to move you forward. But as you move forward, you also have to be very careful that because the horse is about speed, and then there is this sharp object that this knight is carrying. Sometimes, in the fraction of a second, that speed, it's hard to tell, like what is yours, what's not, what is good, what is bad, and all of that. So for those of you that are charging forward towards, something about communication, or you're communicating, make sure that the way you deliver it or the way you say things land in the right way. Like they're not rude, they're not, hurtful, they're not damaging. Because, yeah, the Knight of Swords, the intention is positive, but then with speed and sometimes with the way the Knight of Swords is perceived to operate, there is something like a sharpness about how things are delivered. So be mindful of that. Like, if you have to say something, use softer words, use softer actions, the way you say it, the body language and all of that. What you write, if it's an email, if it's a text message, then make sure that you're reading what you're writing, and make sure that it's, it doesn't blow people off, or it doesn't cut people off, it doesn't hurt people off. Because sometimes it could get on the other side of the spectrum where, people feel really hurt by it, or people feel really, burnt by what you have said. Like it might be the right thing what you're saying, but still, with the sharpness and of course with the Sagittarian fire, you need to make sure that the message is delivered in a very gentle way. And also because there is a speed factor out here, sometimes you need to know when to stop as well. So for those of you that are into public speaking or debates, or in political areas and scenarios, there's a lot of, on a day-to-day basis, there is some, there are moments where you have to present an argument against, this, that, and the third, some teams or some parties or some people or some ideas. So, yeah, it's important that you present the facts, and, yeah, it's like, you present the facts because you have the clarity, but then, you need to know exactly when to stop, when to stop debating, when to stop arguing, when to stop saying things. You have to know exactly when to stop. Especially if it's like, and during especially when you're arguing, when there is direct confrontations with people, we kind of put our point across, and it's, to the point, and, we say it out as it is. And, maybe the other person also, is like, yeah, I agree your point. But then you need to know, the messages can be the other person agrees, they understand that you got to stop. So you can't just keep arguing and fighting and saying the same thing over and over again and cutting people off and things like that. So once your point is delivered, you have to know exactly when to stop. And that's the only caution I would say with this Knight of Swords, because it's speed, it's sharpness. So be mindful of what you're saying, writing, and doing. Now, for some of you, this could be at your office level, where a lot of decisions need to be made, a lot of rules are changing, a lot of, when it comes to the sword energy, there's always an undercurrent of justice speaking truth, and things like that. So a lot of, things, rules, company policies, the rights, all of that might be undergoing some kind of change, or you might be involved in something related to legalities, so for some of you. Now, if this is not your energy, Sagittarius, it could be the energy around you, where people are charged up, they're moving forward, having honest conversations, they're speaking their truth, it could be they're more communicative, or they're a little bit more reckless in their words. With the Knight of Swords, you can expect a little bit of roughness or edgy behavior. For some of you, it could be that people who've been holding things back are now, saying things out loud. They're charging forward. They're more committed. They're more engaged. They have like kind of made up their mind. But at the same time, be mindful of any confrontations, any opponents, any words that are rude, harsh. The conflict that just goes on forever, or that distracts the dynamic or changes the dynamic. Be mindful of those situations. There's always a workaround. There's always where you can watch your words, what you're saying. And yes, while this Knight is charging forward, but it's up to you how you manage the speed of it. So you don't have to be at 100 miles per hour. You can always be at 50, and that's good speed as well. So the speed is in your hands. Be mindful how fast you can handle a situation, and make sure that it's not heading into the reckless territory. Now, another thing that comes to mind is, for some of you, this could be in regards to your investments, whether it's investment at home or investment into something that you're starting at home. These can also be investments into something like a communication, some kind of infrastructure, whether it's, it's online, or it's the satellites or internet, or something about maybe, spacecrafts is also what I'm getting, aviation, aerospace, something industrial also could be your point of focus. This can also be something about, regulations, like how things are regulated in your office or in your own personal business, some kind of introduction of technology in the legal area. For some of you, this could be setting up home internationally also, as I feel that, with Sagittarius 9th house energy, it's travel far and wide, near and far. So for some of you, this could be a fast movement in regards to travel. Maybe you're traveling home, or setting up home in a foreign market, setting up business in foreign market, but it could be something around that. Or it just could be investing into some kind of international or foreign markets as well. Now, I already mentioned the caveat is recklessness. So make sure that if you are tapping into some kind of opportunities, make sure you have the plan from start to finish in case you need to exit out of that. What's going to be your exit plan? Next you have is the card of wildflowers. Now, if you see the wildflowers, there's a bouquet of it. And, it's just a bunch of, like I see, 1, 2, 3 different kind of flowers that are loosely tied, and these are wildflowers. These are not like picked for some kind of occasion or, something which is more fancy. It's just wildflowers, and it's in no particular arrangement. They're just out there, just as they're picked, they're tied up. So this gives me an energy that, somebody was just walking through like a wildflower park, garden, or a field, and then, they just picked some random flowers, and then they just tied it up together. But here they are looking beautiful. So for you, Sagittarius, I'm getting an energy of, with the wildflower, another thing is that nobody prunes. We don't have a gardener who will come and actually prune the wildflowers, right? If you've seen that, they just grow in the wild. Yes, if it's weeds, then it means trimming, but there are some wildflowers that they just grow, in space where they belong, and you can't really plant them. Nobody plants the wildflowers. They just grow because the soil is right and the space is right, the temperature, everything, the sun, all the conditions are right So they just grow. They're not really look after like a public, like a personal space or public park or something like that. So they just bloom where they just bloom. Wherever the seed lands, it just blooms. For you, Sagittarius, I feel that this is a bunch of, different kind of philosophies, interests, hobbies, subjects that you're holding it together. This is you. This bouquet is you. And the bow, I feel, is your capacity, your enthusiasm, your energy. That's your body, your brain that's holding all of these interests together. And I feel that. And because these are different kind of flowers, some are big, some are long stem, some are short stem, some, so it's like flowers of different kinds, different heights, and all of that is over here. So I feel that, those interests that you have, Sagittarius, all of the projects and everything that you are tending to, I feel it's, they're growing at different paces or at different speeds. They're not all growing at the same rate or the same speed. And they all are at probably different accomplishment levels or different levels. Some of them, for some interests or some subjects or some projects, you might be at the beginner level. Some you might be at the intermediate level. Some you might be in the, advanced levels. So I do feel that it's that kind of an image that I'm getting, that you're working on varied interests. Some of them are starting, budding. Some of them have grown. Some of them a little bit more. And the most exciting thing about this bouquet or this wildflower bouquet is that when it comes to these flowers, these wildflowers, nobody plans to plant it in this way, or nobody plans to create a bouquet of this kind of combination. Like in general, if you go to the bouquet shops, you already know, like, if you've done like a florist shop, if you've done some kind of treeing around that, you'll know that they have set patterns, the flowers that they get, and you know exactly, like, how the flower is going to be placed and how it will look like. There's some custom design bouquets out there, they have some designs, they get the flowers, they put it in place, and the bouquet is ready. We can see it on the sites as well. They have like 20, 30 varieties or arrangements out there. And that's how it's going to be, right? That's what you're going to get. Those are going to be the flowers that you will find in the bouquet. But with wildflowers, it's the complete opposite. And this bouquet of wildflowers, nobody, plans, I'm going to pick up these wildflowers, or it's going to be this kind of arrangement, or it's going to be these specific wildflowers, because wildflowers just grow, right? It's nature's smartness, or nature's choice, or nature's, what do you call, intelligence, I would say, that the wildflower grows where it grows. They're not garden. There's no gardener who takes care of them, who plants them. And they look equally beautiful. Like, sometimes, you have to study what the wildflower is about, that it doesn't, cause any allergies and things like that. But wildflower is a flower, and, it's like, that's the thing, wild, it's not structured. It's a wild growth. So for some of you, this could be in your areas of interest. You could be experiencing wild growth in some areas of your life. I am feeling that Knight of Swords in the reverse is like charging forward. Again, that's a little bit of a wild card as well. So some kind of a wild growth that you might be experiencing, some kind of, and with the horse over there, it's like a free growth. These are free to grow where they need to grow. It's the nature that determines where these wildflowers will grow. It's not a particular gardener or somebody. It could be, you could have a wild garden of wildflowers around you, or you might be living in areas where there's a lot of wildflowers like that, but it just feels good, to look at them as well. They feel abundant. Like it's on the dry desert landscape. It still makes it looks beautiful and abundant. So that's the kind of energy I feel for you, very free, with the freedom-oriented, wild growth. Here, there, everywhere. You're just, something that will bring in a lot of abundance as well for you. And the most important thing is that they're not planned, nobody plants them. It's not planned that this wildflower would grow here, this wildflower will grow here. It's an unplanned situation, when it comes to wildflowers. So maybe you're working on things, or you'll experience a kind of growth or something that was unplanned or unthought, and you were like, oh my God, I didn't even expect this kind of growth, or, the outcome is something which is really wild, which you had not expected. Because this is not like a cookie cutter thing that you have been working on, it's like it grows without plan. So something that grew without a plan in your life. A moment where you feel like, oh, I never planned for this. Like, oh, I never thought this would happen. It would grow like this and things like that. It's that kind of a moment, I feel. Now, for some of you, this could be like, just like somebody actually, picked these flowers, right, and put it in a bouquet and tied it with a bow. For some of you, I'm feeling that because this is you, someone might pick you up for the different kind of talents that you have. It's like maybe a company picks you up because you have such varied kind of talents, and you can combine them, because when we have a knowledge of so many subjects, we can kind of create something very unique, and it's because these subjects are, completely different. It could be widely opposite. And it's you chose these subjects. It's your interest. It's your brain. It's your aptitude. It's specific to you. It's not that somebody pushed it down on you, or somebody forced you to pick up these different subjects and learn about it. It was your interest, and it's you that has become this bouquet. So somebody might just choose to offer you a collaboration, or you might get hired, or you might work with collaborations just because of your uniqueness, because of the unique subjects that you work on. This is some kind of offer that might be extended towards you. Because this kind of variety that you have right now, it makes you super rich in terms of your quality and who you are as a person, for your thinking, for your diverse interests, for the knowledge that you have. I feel that this also could be different kind of connections. Like you have different wild or totally tangentially opposite connections. Like you have connections in the politics, and you have connections with doctors, or you have connections with, runners and hikers, or something like that. Completely diverse connections. People you're able to connect with in different opposite facets of life. So it could be that this is the value that you bring to the table, that you're able to, handle so many different varied situations or interests of people, the connection or hobbies or something like that. It's myriad of interests that's coming together, and you're being noticed for that. And we already saw that. You're already passionate with the Knight of Swords. You're charging forward. And the only thing about, a fire energy is that you need to be able to sustain it, to keep pushing forward, to keep that momentum forward. And I feel that this earthy energy with the wildflowers eventually brings the earth element to us. So this earthy energy is going to keep that momentum sustained for a long, long time. Now, for some of you, you could have these different kind of projects going on at the same time, because this wildflowers, if you see, is an ecosystem that's, that comes under the biodiversity, where they support so many insects and birds. It's an ecosystem, right? We all know that. Just like the ocean is an ecosystem, wildflowers is an ecosystem. And I feel that, because if you are the bouquet and you have a lot of varied interests, you can have different kind of businesses, different connections, different things going on. It could be that this variety of interests that you have, it's actually supporting a lot of people. I don't know in which way. Maybe you have a lot of businesses and you're employing a lot of people and supporting them. Or because of this, you're supporting your own self. Maybe your varied interests, you have different kind of jobs that you're working, you're bringing in multiple streams of income and supporting you and your family. It could be either ways. Now, I also feel that with all these interests that you have going on, Sagittarius, I feel that you're just allowing it to grow at its own pace, in its own way, take its own shape and form. You're not forcing it, you're not pruning it, you're not doing this, that, or putting it in a box or something like that. This is pure naturalness. This is like, okay, I'm going to plant the seed, I'm going to put in this, and we'll see where it goes. So you're not forcing things to be a certain type of way. You're just going with the flow, allowing things to grow and bloom at their own time. also knowing that everything has a timing to it, the divine timing concept. It's like, things will grow when you're meant to receive and you're ready for it. That's when you will be able to reap the rewards, when it's out there at this level or something like that. Like, that there is a timing for everything. And I feel that you are completely in the flow of things. You're not forcing it that it should be completed, or your project or your task or your business. There's numbers. You're not playing the number game. You're not playing the target goal game, like this many targets, this, that, and the third. You're just allowing things to grow at their own pace. Because you know that when it comes to nature, when it comes to, especially this white flower, it's like, every wildflower will not grow everywhere. Those flowers, the wildflowers, or even any other flower for that matter, they grow exactly where they belong. That's where they grow. Like even the wildflowers, they will grow exactly where the conditions are perfect for it to grow. A sense of fully belonging is there. So it's like, whichever interest you have going on, whatever you're working towards, whatever you're charging for, you know that it belongs, or you belong to it, and it belongs to you. With that Cancer energy with Jupiter, your ruler in Cancer, which is a sign of home, family, there's just something very deep, personal, maybe traditional, maybe rooted in your family or something like that. You know that this thing belongs, and that's why it's growing, it's blooming. It could be where you live, where it's blooming, because it's close to home. This thing which is blooming is very close to home, or in the house itself. And I forgot about that there was a moon on the chest of the armor of the knight in your Knight of Swords card, right? So the moon right now is in the sign of Taurus, which is an earthy element. And Taurus is a slow-moving sign. So I feel it's a good thing that the moon being in Taurus is going to give you just the exact speed to move forward. It's going to hold you back from being reckless, because that's the collective quality of moon in Taurus, right? Taurus is an earth energy, which is a little bit of a slow-moving energy. So I feel that even though the Knight of Swords is there, it's a fast-moving energy, but because it carries the moon, and moon being in Taurus right now, is going to give you the depth and the right speed, not the reckless speed. So you know that things are moving at the right pace, not in a reckless way, but exactly when they're supposed to be. And I also feel, Sagittarius, that you're not really hung up about how you bring about that, like how you do that. Like sometimes there's a rigid structure to it, like, first this, then third this. I don't think there is some kind of a rigidity that you're following around your interests. You're like, very flexible with how you put in the work and how things are coming together for you. Now, for some of you, this could be investment in your portfolios, like manager. You're picking different kind of investments that are completely unrelated to each other, so that you have a more robust portfolio for investment. For some of you, it could be that. For others of you, you could be, working on a myriad of different things, maybe combining them to create something new, or researching on multiple different kind of things that are unrelated. Like maybe you're working on wildflower plants and agriculture on one side, and you're working on space and engineering or law on the other side, completely different subjects. And it's good to know, that's advancement, that's good, that's evolution, and that's unique to you, Sagittarius. So for some of you, you could be even combining like different specialties or different interests and creating something unique out of it. So, anything is possible with this wildflower. It's just that a multiple myriad of subjects, disciplines, bringing of it together, and, maybe there is some business you're creating out of it. Maybe you're an entrepreneur in different areas of, you're creating content of different kinds, or maybe you're innovating different kinds. Maybe you're an investor, an angel investor that's investing into different kind of companies, like myriad kind of companies. That could be for some of you. And the last card for today, Sagittarius, you have is a message from Cosmos, and it says, try not to dwell on the past or spend too much time worrying about the future. Only does it steal your joy and sense of inner peace. Concentrate on the here and now and enjoy every moment for what it is. You are creating new memories. Absolutely, you're creating new memories. You know, the wildfire thing is like, you know, and I do feel Sagittarius with all of this wildfire energy and the Nine of Swords energy. There's a lot of forward momentum, and you are going to create a lot of memories and create a lot of new things as well. So it says here, concentrate on the here and now. Stay focused, stay committed, and something really beautiful will come out of this. So Sagittarius, those were your messages, and hope you enjoyed them. So thank you guys for joining. Please subscribe and hit the like if you enjoyed the content, and I will see you in the next one. Take care, guys. Bye for now.